Well, good afternoon UCR. Today I'm gonna show you how to make some lovely chicken fajitas. It's easy, it's simple, it's delicious, and you'll love it. So just pay attention for a bit and you'll know how to do it in no time. All we need is some chicken, some onions and some peppers, a lime and some herbs. Now, the first thing I did was marinate my chicken. What I did was I took about, well, what was it, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, squeezed in a fresh lime, and I added a bit of cumin and chili powder and coriander. You can just leave this in the fridge for an hour or slightly longer, but if you leave it in longer than an hour, you should take it out a bit before you cook so it can get to room temperature again. Now, once your chicken is nice and marinated, you just scrape off a bit of the leftover marinade and you salt the chicken again. What you want to do is with the chicken is to cut it as thinly as possible so it doesn't dry out while you're cooking. So if you have nice chicken breasts from the Albert Heijn, for example, you would like to cut them in half. So once you've salted the chicken, you get a big pan, pour olive oil in it, first we wait a bit till it heats up. So what we want to do with the chicken, of course we want it to be well cooked because it's chicken. But if you let it sear on one side slightly longer than you're used to, about 2 or 3 minutes, it will have a nice herb texture once we're finished. Because we cut them thinly, it shouldn't take that long, but it's nice to let them become a nice golden brown color for the taste. Should be fine. You can always cut one in the pan to check whether or not they're actually ready. Just because it's chicken, you might like to do that. And yes, it's nice and white, so it's perfect. Now, what we do now is we take some aluminium foil, tin foil, and we wrap our chicken in it so it doesn't get cold while we're making the rest of the ingredients for our fajitas. If you stack them together, they'll retain heat better. Okay, so we can just put that to the side for a moment. Next step is making the rest of our ingredients, so the bell peppers and the onion. One tip for the onion, if like me, you start crying when you cut onions and you don't have someone around to cut them for you, hold them under water while you're cutting them, it should help. is in the same pan we used to make the chicken, because then the juice and the fat from the chicken will help make this a nice golden brown. A clean spatula. En een messy cook. Now they're okay, so they're nice and brown and they're not entirely soft yet, so we still have a bit of crunch in our final dish. That were our main ingredients. Of course, we can serve the fajitas with, for example, some lettuce and some creme fraiche and some guacamole, which I will show you how to make in a second. But one important thing we should not forget is to actually cut this chicken in stripes. And actually that's where the name fajita also comes from, because it means tiny slices of meat. Okay, just put this back for a second, so I can make the guacamole in the meanwhile. If you're a good multitasker, you can do it while you're making the peppers and onions, but I'll slow the tempo down a bit so you know what to do. For the guacamole, we need again a pepper, 2 avocados, a tomato, tiny onion is enough, a little bit of garlic. And the trick with avocados to see if they're ready is to look at the place where the stem is supposed to be. If that's very, very brown, then the avocado is not ripe yet. If it's greenish or light brown, it's fine. Peel them first. Probably don't want to add more than half of the pepper, as that will make it very extreme. And don't forget to deseed them first. So you just cut them open lengthwise and then you can take out the seeds. I always sort of scrape them out, it works fine. Don't forget to add a pinch of salt. And most importantly, the lime, not only for the taste, but also to keep the avocado from turning brown. And now for my favorite part, just mash it, but not too much so it keeps a nice texture. You can also do this with a fork, by the way, it might be easier. But you can basically mash it as fine as you want. I always like it to be a little bit more texture in there. Well, and then the last step is incredibly easy. Nice, we have our chicken. The only thing we need to do now is prepare wraps. And since we're students and we don't have time for cooking, we're not gonna make wraps ourselves, but we just get them. Like these. All the time, for example. What you do is just warm them up for a minute or two in the pan. And if they get so warm that your hands burn, just take another one and turn it with that. So now we have everything. So we can add a bit of guacamole and some creme fraiche if you like. Chicken. Some nice peppers and onions. And there is your delicious, yet healthy, yet easy meal. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will enjoy your meal as well when you try these. Thank you for watching.